And start recording. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, to the new podcast, whatever the fuck we're calling this. What are we calling this? Sandbox After Dark, right?
I don't
Yeah,
really
no
know.
name podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Well, no.
Name to be determined. If you're
Tap
watching
name.
this, we will have come up with the name, so there you go. Introductions. I am Sergeant Swordstaff, which you'll probably be seeing this on my YouTube channel, or part of it on my TikTok. Above me, we have Aiden, who just got up and fucking walked away. Thank you.
I'm getting
To the left,
I'm getting
we
another
have-
blanket.
to the left, we have not Oprah, also known as the Irish E-boy, Jermo. Below me, we have Seth with the fucking meme as his picture.
Trevor Leahy.
Yes, Trevor. Over here, we have PK. Blackhawk. Up in this corner, we have everybody's favorite Ukrainian ginger, Dimitri.
Wait, he's Ukrainian? How to find the Russians doing?
Anyway.
To shits with AKs.
Nice.
Yeah,
Alright,
that's true.
So today's topic is we are talking about the new Battlefield Portal shit. I've been playing Battlefield for a long time. I know BK has been playing Battlefield for a long time. I don't know how long you fuckers have been playing Battlefield, but
I haven't even ever played it.
Bad Company 2, 360.
since
Shut
Bad
up.
Company 2,
Shut up.
alright, since Bad Company 2, you'll get a good kick out of this. Alright, everybody see the stream? We good?
Hold on.
Get.
Yeah, alright, we're just
Let me
gonna
go to
start.
stream. Alright.
The fucking XMU, of course.
I know, it's so good. At least it wasn't Bad Company 2, anyway. Also, you notice how we got the Bush Monster from Bad Company 2 back? Saw it in there briefly. There we go, Bush Monster. Ooh, shit,
Nice.
full screen. This song's probably copyrighted, so we're gonna turn that down a bit.
No big deal.
Got the pin on the grenade, yeah.
Let's go way up. It's meaty, well. Actually, meaty. You love
Just
to
hit
see
him
it,
with
you love
Galvan
to see
Knuckle?
No, it's the, oh, yeah, but it's not, it's defib
defib.
paddles. But yeah, it's like the
Take it.
Galvanopolis from, fucking Black Ops 2. Got the track and dart, here we go.
How could these idiots be losing right now?
Yeah, get wrecked, nerd. I can't believe your World War II fighter aircraft doesn't have IR flares on it. Ah. What?
An army of a bunch of idiots. I would not feel like okay with that. They have knives.
Well,
I have
do you have to
the
be
Knives
like-
versus defibs.
bet those Germans are pissed, bro.
Yep.
Hey, we're fighting future American soldiers. Shit.
The C4 strapped in.
Oh my god.
Probably.
Believe, is that it? Oh no, we got a bit more.
Oh,
Oh,
it's just a tower
the
collapsing.
tower falling on Caspian. We can not watch that.
Okay. What I just purely love is the amount that Battlefield and like the creators behind it, how they paid so much attention to the community. Like, I bet you COD has never done something like what was it? What the maneuver? I forgot the word maneuver, what it's called, but like when they jump out of the plane mid thing and they fired an AT4 at the other plane. What was it
Oh.
called again?
Yeah, I
Trick
forgot the
shot.
dude's name. Yeah, well, it's a trick shot, but it's
Yeah.
named after the dude who did it first.
Yeah,
BK, you'd
but-
know this.
I forgot his fucking name, to be
Yeah,
honest.
but
Yeah, well.
that I love how they like in the first trailer they did that. You know, they did when there was like a quad bike and hit into the helicopter. They did so much stuff that COD or any other of those like developers would not have put on their games. You know, they would have never paid attention to their community, especially with the defib shit now too,
Yeah.
and the C4 strapped robots. I just love all that.
day. Okay, it's day. Yeah, no, I mean, I like that they're sort of referencing stuff that happened like in previous games and sort of like that sort of iconic events. Like they always did the what was that series called? That only in Battlefield moments or some crap. But you know,
Yeah.
this is sort of certainly a lot better than the Battlefield 5 trailer. Am I right, guys?
Oh my god.
Fucking dumpster fire.
Oh my god. Battlefield 5.
Yes,
Was it?
sir.
Okay. Glad you shut
You
up, PK.
fucking soundboard.
But let's be honest here. Battlefield 5. You have a dumpster fire, right? Imagine you have a dumpster fire, right? And you drop a JDAM on it. That's Battlefield 5 right there.
Yeah, pretty much.
They had a good like idea, but like they tried to
Yeah.
replicate Battlefield 1 and it didn't they didn't do a good job at it.
Oh, baby.
Guillermo talk.
Oh yeah.
Your turn.
I'm fucking know. I mean, like honestly, Battlefield, like I hold it in the hard for its wacky ass physics. Alright?
Yeah.
Can you back a
Good.
little bit away? Can you back a little bit away from your mic
Question.
though?
Should we
It's
talk
not
about
long.
you're in Blackhawk's hidey hole in the middle of that fucking container where unmentionable stuff happened?
No, we won't. Actually, we're gonna.
I'm hopping.
Are we just gonna skate on past that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Anyway, back on topic of Battlefield here. Sounds like
So you just started off and you're gonna figure out what you're gonna say the whole time, huh?
shut
All right,
up.
you just go. All right, back to Battlefield, and then you're like, what the fuck were we talking about again?
No.
No.
Anyway.
One thing on the way Battlefield, right? When you fucking stop like 20 fucking C4s in front of a Jeep and just fucking ram it, the
Oh
enemy
my
tank
God.
by.
Imagine if playing like like M1 Abrams.
That's what happened
I
in the
just
cargo
screamed.
container.
They
I
had.
just scream and
What?
cream when it
That's all they
happens.
had.
Oh,
Shut
same
up.
No, it's probably reversed. That's unfortunate.
Sarge,
Anyway.
put on the hat.
Oh, the hat. Yeah.
Come on,
Look at
man.
that.
But
Perfect.
I'm trying to imagine just having an M1 Abrams in your game, right? And to
Not
have like
bad,
a
yeah.
World War II Jeep come to you, strapped like 20 C4.
Yeah.
I would pay. That's what I'm gonna pay to play. I would pay to play
You'd
that.
pay money to see that, but you will. You'll pay the 60 bucks.
I am. I am
What's
paying money,
with that?
so I better see it.
Yeah.
What does the Oprah not Oprah thing mean?
Duh,
Like, are you
it's
just
Oprah.
stating a fact?
It's
You-
Oprah. One is Oprah, one's not Oprah. Do you not get it?
No, but is there like some kind of joke behind it or something?
Yeah, the joke is that he's not. That Oprah's there and he's not Oprah. You have to clarify that one is
Ah.
Oprah, one isn't. You idiot! Oh my God. How can
Yeah.
someone be this dumb, bro? Come
There's such a
on.
big
Did somebody
difference.
forget what
Yeah,
topic they were
actually, no.
talking about?
Yeah, we only let smart people into this podcast.
This is your
Yeah.
first fucking.
We only let smart people in here. Yeah, it's real with a complete bunch of idiots here.
Jack, have you ever heard of a thing called Harbinger's Cap? It's a state of it's a rule in quantum physics, right? If a state of matter is not clearly defined, you won't know what it is. So unless I state that I'm not Oprah, you won't know that I'm not Oprah.
Yeah, so
No,
they
but
may
you know, I
confuse
thought it was
your
like an
white ass
alien
for
inside
Oprah.
joke or something. I don't know. Jesus Christ.
Dang it.
It's merely for the simplicity and the
That's just for clarification.
it's to clarify to the viewer that I'm not Oprah.
Oh,
Yeah, because it's very confusing that sometimes, not gonna lie.
Mm-hmm.
I got you.
Yeah.
One, like, for example, they have a lot of things in
One's,
common. Like, they're both
Israel
women, you
versus
know?
Trump, and
They're both
the
women,
other
you
one's
know?
Oprah Winfrey.
Hey, Mr. Psychology degree, what do you have to say about all this?
It's like, what? What are we talking about?
We're talking about Battlefield.
I'm working on my actual degree right now.
Oh,
A
are
degree
you?
in psychology.
Oh, don't let
Yeah.
us stop you. Why are you here for a podcast if you're doing college stuff? Actually, I thought you were done with school.
I am. I'm preparing
Who
for
just
the
knows
next
that here?
semester.
Ooh,
This is
a new
all the-
contender happens. Hey, Alden, welcome to the middle
Contender.
of our podcast.
You just fucking joined, bud. Interrupted
You
it.
just
Not
joined
cool.
it. Anyway, so you're gonna be our new contender now.
Anyway, so Alden, what do you think of the new Battlefield stuff? The portal shit.
I don't know. Like, I think there's some potential in there. I think it'll probably need some further development before it really gets anywhere, but
Is it
it's a
gonna be
start.
mod friendly? That's my question.
Fair enough. So who else is
Yeah.
liking the idea? It looks like more of a Forge thing from like Halo 3.
Yeah, definitely. That's what I'm trying
Yeah.
to say.
Yeah, which I think that should be fun at a minimum. Like, whether it's actually useful or not, like, we'll have to see how much
mean-
freedom they give you.
Well,
but
okay.
it should be fun.
But
I think confirmed. Yeah, I think they confirmed that you're not going to be able to like edit maps off the bat.
Yeah,
You're
that's
gonna
what I'm
get,
about to
like, a
say.
3D editor.
You're not gonna be able to do that. You're just gonna be able to customize teams and like all that, like weapons and stuff like that.
You can like, my understanding is you can sort of like draw off areas of a map. So like, let's say you wanted to like fight
Like
in
in like one
a
building of
random-
Shanghai.
Yeah, like just like for
The one tall
example-
building in Shanghai.
Yeah, I don't think that.
That
might
should be
be
really.
but yeah.
But you know what I mean, like something like that.
Yeah.
Especially if you can limit team loadouts, you could create some.
They
which is-
did.
Yeah,
they
which
did
you
that.
Yeah,
can
you
do.
can limit team loadouts.
Yeah, like, I think that you can definitely do some interesting stuff with that. Though,
Definitely.
honestly, like, I would have
Oh,
rather
no.
seen something like that for, I don't know, like a more historic setting Battlefield. Like, think about, like, like Battlefield 5's gunplay wasn't the best, but like, imagine if you could do like team loadouts for that. Like, you could do some historical inspired stuff aside from like
me and my
the mini games.
homies in 1776 during the Napoleonic Wars, like bro, shut the fuck up. It's gonna be a modern Battlefield, modern ass Battlefield, but another
Yeah,
historical one. I just wouldn't buy the game.
Well, I mean, you can
Pretty
still
fucking
do the World
up.
War II stuff. I mean, they had a list of weapons that were included. Among them were quite a few World War II weapons.
Yeah, you could easily make it
Scarens,
into
stuff like that. Carnidea.
I'm not
Every-
necessarily saying that you couldn't do it with the new one. I'm just saying, like, it's a shame that they didn't develop this earlier for previous games. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm thinking of like a lot of scenarios that like custom servers could kind of do to a point.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
it's actually.
Battlefield 1 had some interesting stuff with custom servers back in the day.
Yeah.
Most of that's quite dead now, which is a
Battle,
shame.
even in Battlefield 4, it had like a zombie. People find a way to make a zombie mode too, which is actually pretty fun.
Yeah.
Uh.
Something I think is interesting is like as it goes on, right? We'll get more and more content into it. So like, while we don't necessarily have content from like Battlefield 4, we may get some of the more popular Battlefield 4 maps in there, or Battlefield 2 maps, so on and so forth. So we can, like, hopefully by the time, like, the next Battlefield releases, we have a good stockpile of stuff. And I hope this is something they continue to add to like their successor games. We get to kind of continue to have this Battlefield Portal thing.
Sarge.
Yeah.
What about Project Reality Remastered?
Oh my
I
god.
feel like you could probably do that. Like,
That's probably what I think is gonna
try and
happen.
get
Something like
Project
that.
Reality in there. I mean, I
would
imagine you
actually-
can edit health and stuff like that, and movement.
I'm wondering, is this gonna be like like friends only? Have to invite your friends only, or is it gonna be
Nope.
up to public?
You can host public service, and it's free.
Oh.
You don't have to pay for them. You just
Oh, you don't
set
have to
it up
pay
and
for it?
Pop it up. Yeah.
Sick.
Oh, that's gonna be. Oh, damn.
It's gonna result in like a renaissance of community content.
Yeah,
even
it's
if,
actually-
like, the tools are a little bit more limited than some privately hosted stuff before. Like, this is a good thing because it makes it more accessible.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Now, here's the real question about Battlefield. Was it 2042 or whatever the hell? I'm blanking on the numbers because, frankly, I don't care. It's basically just another like Battlefield 6, pretty much,
Mm-hmm.
or Battlefield 4.5 is pretty much the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Battlefield 4.5 or
4.5. Yep.
yeah. No, but here's the real question: will they make handguns great again? I miss my obscene hand cannon from Battlefield 1.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Battlefield 1, I always love like how much cracked weapons they had.
Battlefield Reforger.
You know, you just pop up with like the Martini Henry and just dome
Oh,
someone.
damn, dome someone from like miles away.
We could do a Zulu game mode. If
What's
they
that?
added
Oh,
like the
no.
Martini Henry, like you could have a team of dudes with like breech loading rifles and just have another team that's all knives or machetes or whatever and be like fucking Zulu. First
Oh my
rank,
god.
fire. I'll probably insert a clip of that post to show everyone that. That's a note.
What
to
if
edit
they
in
made like a
Surge.
Battlefield like game mode where it's just like people with borders and all that?
I'm
like,
sure
one
it'll
person fires
probably
at a time.
exist. Like literally playing Battleship.
In Battlefield. The irony is physically killing me, by the way.
I kind of want Naval Combat to come back because we got. I mean, there's
Uh,
Naval Combat 2042, and we saw a little
Battle-
bit of Battlefield 1.
By the looks of it, no naval combat was in any trailer.
Yeah, it wasn't in the trailer, but I mean, it would be nice,
I
especially
wouldn't
with like
be
the
sur-
portal stuff.
I wouldn't be entirely surprised if there were some smaller boats added. But I mean, like, even Battlefield 5 didn't really do much of that at all.
Yeah, I don't
Like,
think there's
yeah.
any boats.
you
in
had
that
like
game.
little boats to get between islands, like
Well,
you did
yeah,
in
in
some
the
of the older
Pacific.
games, but they didn't do, you know, battleships or whatever.
We didn't
They
even
did
get attack
Battlefield 1.
boats like you have in 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Parcel Storm.
I
Those
think-
things are fucking broken.
Maybe at the most you'll get like 4, like Battlefield 4 type naval combat, but that's about it.
Yeah, or maybe like off-map support or something.
I mean,
Like,
one of the
Yeah, like
vehicles.
Battlefield 1, yeah.
Well, I'm kind of thinking like more like you know how in Battlefield 5 you had like the squad mechanics, where like the squad lead could go like, hey, I want like you know, a
V1
sector
or-
barrage
yeah.
here, or I want yeah, the V1s, or can I get a Sturm Tiger, please? You know.
Mhm.
I wouldn't be surprised if they do a little bit in that direction again. Maybe not in the same way, but having some sort of like ability kind of stuff back in,
Mm-hmm.
which if managed well could be a bit of fun. Shake things up again.
I mean, like
If it's managed poorly, then it's just explosive spam again.
Yeah.
going all the way back to Battlefield 2, squad leads could call
Oh.
artillery strikes, but artillery was also like a physical item on the map, so the enemy team could raid your artillery batteries, destroy them, and they'd be down for a certain amount of time. Right?
That
So,
wouldn't. That's actually a pretty good mechanic. Sorry for
Yeah.
interrupting you.
like there's
mean-
a YouTube channel like the Neebs Gaming guys, were the dudes who did Battlefield Friends, right? The Neebs brought up an interesting thing. He talked about he wants like bases back, like how for example on like Firestorm and Caspian Border, it's like all your shit spawns at the back, and you got a little airstrip and stuff, so you kind of get that more feeling of, oh, we have this sort of forward operating base. And also, I don't know, it just kind of provides more of like an atmosphere to just like, oh, click, spawned in the tank. I mean, granted, you should still be able to spawn in from the menu, but it'd be nice to see like the depot of all your vehicles kind of around with like the airfield in the back.
Yeah. But they had that in Battlefield 2. You could raid the artillery.
Yeah,
That's actually interesting. That's actually a good way to balance out a mechanic like that.
Eh.
I was thinking like, what if you had like a game mode like you know Squad the game?
yeah.
What if you had like a game mode like that, like a platoon on platoon, like 4 squads or 40 guys?
You got
Like,
the numbers for it, and I mean that's basically what Jeremy was suggesting, a Project Reality sort of setup for it.
Hmm.
Which Project Reality was like the game that sort of kicked off the. So I call it a game. It was a mod for Battlefield 2 that sort of kicked off this sort of realistic, sort of large scale warfare thing. I mean, granted there was Arma, but that that wasn't
Speaking of
necessarily
Arma,
mainstream.
Reforger. Haven't you seen the fucking leaks for that?
I've
Wait,
seen
what
some
it-
of them.
Wait, seen what?
The Arma 4 leaks.
Show me.
Like the pictures and stuff. Yeah, here, I got them now.
But Arma, it's a wild beast, alright? You cannot use Arma. Arma is way too realistic for an average player, and it can't be accessed on console either.
Way too buggy for the average player.
Well, I wouldn't say that Arma is all that realistic. Like it has some features which are nice for team play and like in-game comms and whatever.
Well,
and
yeah,
some
obviously
features
that's
that are
mods
more
too.
simulationist, but like vanilla Arma is pretty.
Yeah, but no
not
armor's
actually-
trash.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is like if you take Arma as a game before mods, it's actually not all that different from say Battlefield, other than
Yeah,
maybe
definitely.
the spawn mechanics are a little bit more of a pain sometimes. But even
And
that's not
actually setting up like a game is really hard too, because you have to make the whole entire mission and all that.
I mean,
That's always a pain.
Arma's a sandbox. That's kind of its thing.
pretty
too.
much.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say it seems like maybe we'll get a. Let's bring the discussion back to Battlefield, since it's what Ryan was just bringing up a little bit. It seems like maybe the TTK will be okay this time around. Like,
What's the rules on
maybe a
TTK?
decent balance.
What
What's the rules on TTK?
rules?
Like is it gonna be like penalties and stuff like that? It's gonna be like
No, it's TTK. It's not team
Oh,
killing. It's
time
time
to
to
kill.
yeah, time to kill. I'm dumb. I'm really dumb, but yeah. TTK by the looks of it. I don't know too much about the weapon balancing for it, but it doesn't seem that bad.
Yeah, I mean, my main thing is just like I think some previous Battlefield games have had some problems with tweaks. Like for example, Battlefield 5 went back and forth. Like it was like whiplash pretty much on that. Like just
Yeah.
hard back forth, like
Yeah.
for a little bit. Like they made it like really long, and then it was pretty short, and then it was long, and then it was shorter again, and like toward the end of the game's sort of main life cycle, it was at like a nice medium for some but not all weapons.
I mean, its life ended like 3 months after launch, so.
Well,
Yeah.
what I'm saying is like,
Yeah.
actually, if you look at like player counts on console, it's not too bad. Which is surprising. I think that's mostly because PlayStation literally gave it away for free.
Yeah, they gave it away. I got it. I hated it actually. It was so cancer, bro.
Well, the other thing is on consoles, you don't have
Sorry.
any alternatives. Like on PC, we can play Squad, Hell Let Loose,
Yeah.
those games. And
Yeah, so many like
some
milsim
of those are
alternatives.
going to console though.
yeah, but they
Oh,
haven't made
what?
it yet.
Well, didn't Rising Storm 2 end up on console already?
I don't think so.
It did. I think it
did. I think it was on like PS4 and either Xbox.
No, I
One.
think it's right. Yeah.
And I know that there's some of the. I think the other game that Antimatter / Tripwire was working on might also end up on console, but that's not out yet. That's in pretty early development, so we'll see if that's
I feel like
PC exclusive or not. Verdun and whatnot were on console. Granted, those are a bit simpler games, but still.
I can't find
Verdun
anything
Hamburg.
that shows Rising Storm 2 being available on console.
Yeah, maybe it wasn't.
I kind of thought it was too actually for a moment, but
Wait, here we go.
I mean, Rising Storm 2 is pretty
Yeah.
old.
Well, it is, but
I don't really see Rising Storm 2 as a console game.
yeah, I don't think it's kind of.
I think I was
kinda
just
dead.
thinking of the controller support, maybe.
Yeah.
It's kind of dead. Not gonna lie. Rising
What do you
Storm.
mean? Rising Storm 2 still is
No,
pretty
it's
active.
not.
community.
Yeah, Rising
Huh?
Storm 2 is pretty good server pops on a regular basis, especially now that like the problems with all the folks that got it for free off of Epic we're having with matches. I think that mostly got fixed now, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's not too bad. I would actually say, like, while it's not perfect, I'd say that's pretty good gunplay and pretty good time to kills in that game. Like in
It's
general,
probably a little
like
too short for a Battlefield game, though.
maybe, but like I don't know. I would like to push things back in that direction
Mhm.
instead of these super long TTKs. Because sometimes, like, it's incredibly frustrating if you have a submachine gun and you have to like empty half the mag just to kill someone. Like that's
Yeah.
not fun. Now, like, I'm not saying empty half the mag and you miss half of those shots and then you kill someone, because that's fair. That means that you weren't controlling
You're
the
bad.
recoil. But well, assuming that we're not talking about wild, random spread or whatnot, which previously, yeah, that was a thing in Battlefield to a point. But like if we're talking about actual recoil patterns and whatnot with minimal randomness, then yeah, like I think realistically speaking, at most ranges, like if a weapon takes more than 5 shots to kill, it's a problem, and even 5 is kind of a bit much for most weapons.
Still, though, it depends on rate of fire. Like at the end of the day, you know, like if you're firing like I don't know, like 1,000 or like 900 rounds a minute, like 5 rounds hit on target. I mean, it's gonna be like nothing. Like you see, like
Yeah.
the Mark 10 on Warzone, it took like at its like height when it was like really when it was the meta, it took like 8 shots to kill, but it fired like 1,500 rounds a minute. So like, did it really matter?
Yeah, it doesn't really like on
Yeah,
weapons. Like RPM and damage is real when you want to balance out in video game terms. You know,
I mean,
if
in
too
a
much
perfect
RPM and
world, every
Go
gun
ahead.
would have the same TTK, but it would
That's what
handle
you want.
differently. But sadly, we can't. I mean, you can technically achieve that, but that's just
dull.
not how it's
No.
going to be.
Well,
You
the other
obviously
thing,
sniper rifles wouldn't have the same TTK.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
yeah.
I think that also you have to consider like a game like Battlefield is definitely like balance is a major consideration, but one of their big things is sort of fun factor. And
Yeah.
so they're gonna do wonky stuff with weapons a bit. Frankly, I kind of liked where they took that to an extreme in Battlefield 1 with just like the gimmick weapons. Like the General Liu rifle having different damage profiles between the bolt action mode and the semi-automatic mode,
Hmm.
because that rifle could switch, because that's how the real one worked too. Now, like, granted, like, does it really make sense for them to do different damage? Realistically speaking, not at all.
No.
But as a game mechanic, that was really fun because you could switch around and do different stuff with it. I'm trying to think of what the deal was. There's a bunch of like kind of gimmick weapons like that. There are a couple of submachine guns that were pretty much like LMGs in Battlefield 1, like they had bipods or
Yeah.
The Hellreagle?
very large. Yeah, like Hellreagle. What was the French one? It's the Rebel roll.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'm not pronouncing that in
Shosha?
the French way. No, not the Shosha, because that's an actual machine gun. I'm talking like submachine guns that have like machine gun-like features. Another one is the Bilar Perosa that the one of the elite classes got, because you could just dump like a ton of bullets downrange in no time at all with that thing, because the rate of fire is pretty obscene. They had a couple of other like gimmick weapons too. When
like
it
the
came
kit.
to the actual machine guns.
These man like the kits
Well,
where you
yeah,
put like on the armor and stuff like that.
yeah.
There, those are fucking class.
Yeah, something Battlefield
Yeah.
1 did really well, I hope they bring back, is how like small arms fire can do some damage to vehicles. I mean, granted, you're not going to do much, but like,
Well-
I found myself doing this in Battlefield 4 when I went back and playing, and I was trying to shoot at a fucking helicopter with a machine gun, and I'm like dumping rounds into this thing. I'm like, oh, that's right. Small
I
arms fire
can't.
doesn't do any damage to helicopters or anything in this game. It's like, well, eh. Like, granted,
It would be
it's
nice if like you could get like armor piercing belts from machine guns or something. Like maybe that's an equipment slot. Like you can swap out mag for like anti-vehicle ammo, and then you can damage light vehicles that way.
yeah.
But
I reckon I'll be one of
if
like
they
the
if yeah, I mean,
So,
I think it was nice having more options for anti-vehicle work on foot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because usually it was either explosives or not. And it makes sense though, like in Battlefield 1, because to armor back then for in World War 1 and all that, the armor
That's
for
probably-
the vehicles there was basically nothing. Anything
I mean,
larger
it
than your
varies a
average,
little bit, but yeah.
but mostly anything could really like do damage to the,
I mean, like, a tank is not going to easily be taken out by, say, a rifle fire, right? But if you have, like, armor-piercing ammunition at short range, for, like, a machine gun, sure. Or if you have a dedicated armor-piercing weapon. In real life in World War One, actually, a lot of early anti-tank work before, like, anti-tank rifles or dedicated, or if artillery wasn't available. Aside from like immobilization or attacking in close combat with, say, grenades or explosive charges or whatnot, the other way that you could kill a tank is actually they would shoot elephant guns, like large caliber rifles, at like view slits, and you'd have a chance of killing a crew member or two or whatever. Obviously, I think that's a little in depth for a thing like this, and that's not so relevant when you're fighting, say, an Abrams or a T-90 or whatnot, or T-14. But I think that having multiple ways to deal with vehicles, they did a good job with that in Battlefield 1 to an extent, and Battlefield 5 also. Like in Battlefield 5, you have all kinds of gimmick anti-tank equipment, because you have the mines, you have multiple kinds of rocket launchers or anti-tank devices that actually were mechanically a little bit different between like the Piet, the bazooka, Panzerschrecks. I thought the Fliegerfaust was a little ridiculous, but it was fun. It didn't really work that well, but
Yeah.
You had different options for that. You had the lunge mines, which are just kind of ridiculous but fun. The people mostly used them against infantry in game.
Yeah. It's really fun just like popping up against someone and like slamming a C4, well, what it was basically explosive charge into their gut. But I think we should come a bit more. I think we're kind of straying away from the topic of Battlefield a bit. Well, no.
Actually, to continue this tangent a little bit, I found out the other day the like M250 cal machine gun was originally designed as an anti-tank machine gun.
Was it actually?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the cartridge was too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's always been like that. The 50 cal was
so the concept, the Germans came up with it. With the, how they had the T-Gewehr, which fired the 13.2 millimeter cartridge, right? That cartridge was originally designed to be like a multi-weapon cartridge. Yeah, you had like the anti-tank rifles were sort of an interim measure, but actually the cartridge was intended for a machine gun, which is the TUF, which is tank and Flieger, so like planes and tanks both. The idea is that you have a beefy cartridge that you can just slap stuff around with. It's really like the first modern heavy machine gun concept in terms of when we think about large caliber machine guns. And the Browning's sort of almost a derivative of that concept, or at least like coming to the same solution in a slightly different way. But in any case, though, like I'm hoping that we get multiple like meaningfully different anti-tank weapons instead of going back to like Battlefield 3, where like all the rockets are kind of the same beyond a certain point. And there are a couple of clear like winners in terms of infantry anti-tank gear, and a lot of it was kind of crap anyway, because even if you're attacking from an advantageous angle, it wasn't necessarily going to kill the tank very easily.
I like the way Battlefield 1 did it, where you could like crit vehicles and like damage certain components. Like
I think like mobility restrictions that way would be really good. Like if you could track a tank and then it's stuck there, and then maybe your other squad mate has a mortar or something, just starts whacking the top of it or something, or some other guy who has a satchel charge can creep up on it and chuck it.
Yeah.
At the engine deck or something, like if they're like module crits again, the way that there have been in to an extent Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 5, like I think that would be a good step.
We need to get rid of repairing from inside of vehicles. That needs to go.
Definitely.
Oh yeah.
Overpowered.
Yeah.
Definitely. That
That's
shit
like
needs to
only
go.
applicable on like 3 things though.
Yeah,
It's just the helicopters and the boats.
And then I don't mean like having some dude like sit on the outside of it. See, but Hawk, you haven't.
Ryan's talking about the auto repair. mechanic.
So
like
in
if
in 1 in 5, you can hold the X key and a little circle will appear, and when it finishes, it'll repair like 30 or so health of your vehicle while you're inside of it. Granted, it gets interrupted if you take any damage, but it's still stupid that you
Right.
can sit immune inside your vehicle and you're like, "Oh, I'm whacking it
in
with a
Battlefield
hammer."
1,
So it's kind of
and
like the
go on,
War
sorry.
Thunder feature, like how you can repair on the move.
No, yeah.
Yeah. Well, so the other thing was that in Battlefield 1, for a lot of vehicles, you could repair up to the full health.
Mhm.
Whereas in Battlefield 5, they did restrict it, so auto repairs could only heal a portion of the damage, and otherwise you'd need to use like emergency repair consumables or go find a repair point, which I
Yeah.
think is like a somewhat workable solution, especially since those repair points were destructible in Battlefield 1. So if someone blew it up, then you'd have to get out of your vehicle to fix it anyway. That being said, I think I do like the older solution of, okay, you need an extra guy if you want to repair it from the inside, and only some vehicles are
Mhm.
serviceable for that. But I don't know. I think that maybe if they get rid of that, then armored vehicles need to actually be more resistant, at least from the front.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, like, vehicles aren't. They're just kind of going to eat crap from every explosive weapon if they don't have enough protection that way.
Yeah, well, I mean, that goes into that thing. It's like tanks shouldn't be able to just like roam about freely. They should have to have like infantry cover and stuff. You know.
What do
'cause-
you? Sorry, continue.
No, that's pretty much it. I was just gonna say, like,
Ah.
it's sort of that thing where tanks are there to support the infantry, not be the infantry.
What about those robot dogs that they had in the trailer?
That's I don't know. I don't know. I
I
think
think
it's gonna
that's
be
one of
like
the
a
like specialist ability things.
yeah, maybe
Yeah.
a kill streak
I mean-
probably. Well, actually, no, there are no kill streaks. I'm dumb.
I hope not.
No.
Yeah, if they kill streak, everyone's. What do you guys think about the air, like the air anti-combat situation is going to be going on?
Couldn't care about it. Couldn't care about it. I'll never
Oh,
play
fuck
it.
you. But like air
as
to
a heli
air.
whore,
Oh, of course.
like I hope that basically I hope vehicles behave like they do in Battlefield 4. That's what I'm gonna chalk it up to. I was happy with that system. Maybe a few tweaks, like maybe adding the sort of mobility shit on top of the Battlefield 4 system.
Yeah,
that'd
but the
be it for
Battlefield
me.
4 system, the vehicle system was pretty much flawless, to be honest. Not absolutely, but it was pretty good.
Yeah.
There was no problems. There wasn't that big of problems with it.
The thing I'm curious about is if they will go with the sort of like call-in vehicles almost. Like in terms of like, you know how in like earlier Battlefields, vehicles just spawned on maps naturally,
Yeah.
like Battlefield 3. That was kind of a poor system because then you had people just sort of like not playing the game and just sitting next to the vehicle spawn, like waiting for their tank to come back, which is kind of unproductive for overall team play.
I think that
I'm kind of hoping that we see something a little bit more like Battlefield 5 or Battlefield 1 with terms of purposeful vehicle spawns tied to map points or such.
Yeah, like the dreadnought, the train. I feel like the same.
Well, no,
wasn't-
not the behemoths.
No,
I'm
no.
talking
Wait.
about like just tanks. Like so
Oh,
in Battlefield
I'm dumb.
5, for example, like say you capture B cap on a lot of maps, like A cap or C cap or whatever has like a tank spawn there. A certain number of tanks can be spawned in that area. So then, like, even if you want vehicles or whatever, you're encouraged to sort of play that game of like actually pushing the objective. If you want to have more vehicle spawn locations,
Oh,
vehicles on your
okay.
team.
I
That
I
can
hear
get
that.
a little bit steamrolly, but I think they did a decent job in the last two of reducing that a bit with the way the maps were designed.
I mean, there's a
Um,
good degree of that in like Battlefield 4 as well. For example, road transmission, right? The D cap point, I think, whatever the one on that sort of side road is like has the attack heli on it. and I think to a degree in some like trying to remember the map. What map was it? Shit.
Yo, mama.
Good one.
Siege of
Hey, got him
Shanghai,
on
right?
him.
So you
You got him on
had
that one.
your 2 tanks at base, but you could also get a tank like from the whatever the 2 closest points to your base also had tank spawns on them, so you were encouraged to at least keep those captured, right?
And
Yeah, like on the final stand, because like hopper tanks and like that there on the end decaps, which I think are really, really cool.
Oh yeah, on the snow
like-
map, yeah.
Yeah.
what else is a maps? What do you think about the maps? Like,
We haven't really seen too much of them.
yeah, that is true. I think like it's basically gonna be a direct copy and paste of like Shanghai is gonna be whatever the new city map is. I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know. What I
Nah,
like
as
is
long as there's legacy maps, I'm happy enough.
well, when they're adding this vehicle system, one of the things they mentioned is like because of how big the maps are, you can now call in like a quad bike on you at any point, right? So if you need to get like across the map, you're no longer gonna have
That's
to run
good.
for like 4
Yeah, run
kilometers, right?
4 miles. Yeah, just
It's
get
like
domed by some guy half a mile away.
you know, you can hop on your radio and be like, "Hey, I need a fucking ATV here so I can get to Charlie or whatever," you know, and that thing will drop an ATV on you. Which I think is cool. And also to sort of go back to the system of like how vehicle spawns are handled. They discussed like so there's the call-in system, there's a cooldown for that, so the same people aren't calling in vehicles all the time. There's obviously limited number of them that can be spawned in at once. But I think they also confirmed that you can still spawn straight into vehicles from like the spawn screen, similar to how you could in like Battlefield 4 and 3 and so on. Although it remains to be seen how that'll interact with sort of the call-in system.
Yeah.
I think also levels of vehicle variety will be interesting to see whether they go very much just like, okay, there is, you know, here's what a scout helicopter is, here's the gunship for each faction, here's whatever.
Yeah.
And then they do that for each vehicle type, or will it be more like for example, Battlefield 5 had this sort of thing where you had like vehicle choices for each slot for
Yeah.
each faction, and then you also had your vehicle customization that way, which wasn't perfect. There were some issues with it, but that was kind of a nice system.
Based on what I've seen, it seems that they will be doing sort of the Battlefield 4 system where everything technically has the same stats, but it's just reskinned per
Mirrored,
team.
yeah.
Although anybody who's flown helicopters Battlefield 4 knows that the Little Bird is much better than whatever the Russian helicopter is because the Little Bird is much shorter. So, the stupid long tail boom on the Z11 or whatever it's called, so that thing got you into lots of trouble. So,
I was just like I'm trying to think of like a good like vehicle system, well not like faction like in terms of balance or whatever. Like one faction is like vehicles are like the air vehicles are better than X faction, and this faction is better. Like each faction has like better vehicle like stats or overall vehicles in like each different category. If you kind of get what I'm saying.
I think we probably won't see as much of that in like the vanilla game mode, but I think we'll see a lot of
Yeah.
it in the Portal stuff, where you have like sort of the modern fighter jets going up against the World
Definitely.
War II fighter aircrafts and stuff like that. So, like, I get what you're saying, but it's very hard to balance stuff asymmetrically.
Yeah, that's going to be really hard to balance. That's why I kind of think games have that.
Against M1 Abrams. The German army is the best.
Shut up,
What are
Tiara.
you even saying?
He's talking about M1 Abrams superiority.
No, M1 Abrams. It's okay.
You mean fodder of the freedoms? Yes,
Freedoms,
as we
my
say in
dick.
War Thunder. No,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
there's a lot of
War
Sarge,
Thunder
how long
veteran
has it been
nightmare,
rolling
guys.
for?
We are at 45 minutes.
Oh, we've
Yeah,
been
we're talking
pretty.
about 45 minutes.
How do you think Battlefield is going to overtake COD now? Like, you think it's going to directly overtake
They're
Warzone?
different
and all that
games.
They're different
True.
games. I mean, they're still first-person shooters. I mean, there's a good part of the community that plays both, but like, I play both, and I don't like there's a certain experience you get from COD and there's a certain
Yeah,
experience you get from
definitely.
Battlefield.
Yeah.
Granted, if one releases a shit game, I'll certainly play a lot
Yeah.
more of the other, but I'm not gonna do this like, oh, I'm switching to Battlefield or I'm switching to COD because I'm never gonna play the other one again. I think that's sort of like a thing that people say and just like never do because like
They don't even care. Yeah.
I mean like
It's
Battle.
classic forum memes. That's it. It's just classic shit posting. Like
Mhm.
it's the same with like franchises for like anything else. It's almost like the DC and Marvel argument to a point because like
Yeah,
even with
Or
comics,
Star
like
Wars.
a lot of people read both, or Star Wars and Star Trek. Like fans will follow both pretty readily. Even people that aren't like overly like I don't know, comic obsessed. In the case of DC and Marvel. Whatever. Like people follow whatever kind of stories they like, or in this case, the kind of games that they like. I think people are less picky or franchise loyal outside of like petulant children and like redditors.
Alright, so because we're sort of approaching that 45-minute mark, actually we've gone past the 45-minute mark, let's go ahead and just get everybody's, biggest thing they're excited for and thing they really hope that doesn't get screwed up in 2042. I will let Aiden go first because he's above me.
Definitely the vehicle system. That's going to be a really funky system. You can never perfect it in a game. It's impossible to. But hopefully that, because balancing and all that, that's what I'm excited for. Definitely the Forge or whatever. I'm going to call it the Forge. Fuck you.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
yeah, it's basically the Forge. It's definitely what I'm excited for. I'm looking forward to that, having custom game modes and custom servers and all that shit. Yeah, that's what I got.
I'm excited about just the game. There haven't been any new games like recently.
Any good new
It seems
shooters?
like it's gonna be good.
Yeah,
It's gonna be fun. A lot of fun, hopefully.
yeah, that's a casual fan's opinion on Battlefield. Jeremiah?
Yeah.
Farther
I just
towards the
want
camera.
good tanks, cool tank combat.
Cool
I
tank
just want good
combat.
tank.
Cool tank. Alright.
So, like good boom, a pretty boom, or even like a massive boom. I just like want a big boom. That's it. And Battlefield with Evolution. I bet. I, I bet that'll be in high demand.
Yeah. For me, again, the vehicle combat, specifically for me, the air combat, I hope that's well in balance because I am a bit of a heli whore. But also I do
can
play a
tell.
lot of infantry and other stuff. So I just kind of hope, again, overall it's balanced, and I hope they get the gunplay right because that is, pretty important. Although one thing I am very excited for is the gunplay as well, because based on some of the trailers and like some of the few bits of gameplay I've seen,
Especially the customizing it on the fly.
Yeah, that's one of the
That
things
might
I'm
be-
worried about. That seems pretty. It's like, oh look, I can slap my 50-round drum mag in before I go up the elevator and fuck everybody else when the doors open. It's like, well.
And then when I get it, I can slap on my like long range scope, and I could probably snipe some
Mhm.
guy from across.
Yeah,
Definitely.
sort of ruins that aspect if you kind of want to. You have to
Well, sticking to one
sort of
playstyle.
gauge like what sort of like, oh, do I want to run a red dot and be good at close range, or do I want to kind of build this as sort of a middle range and maybe run that E tech with
My eternal struggle.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right, so Hawk, you can go ahead.
I'm just excited for a modern shooter. Like COD had a gap there where they didn't make modern shooters. Battlefield as well. They made Battlefield 1.
I mean, Modern Warfare is quite good, but I guess you never really played that.
Right, but they did the futuristic shooters for like 3 iterations,
And
and
then they
people
did
got
like
burnt out, and the series died. So
Yeah.
I've always liked the modern shooters over futuristic or old style.
Yeah. Odin?
Handguns. Make handguns great again.
Mhm.
Aside from that, though, give me a lever gun again. I want memes.
Yeah.
I definitely think
I want
the
submachine. Also, in terms of gun balance, sub guns should be relevant the way that they have been in the last few titles, not sort of relegated to why wouldn't I just bring an AR? because
Yeah.
like in Battlefield 3 and 4, it wasn't always the case, but there are a lot of maps and situations where it's just like, okay, like generally speaking, why would I ever put a sub gun, in and have that take my primary slot?
Hmm.
There are a lot of maps where it just made zero sense. And even the maps where it did make sense, damage wise and just like overall performance, most of the metaguns were ARs of some kind.
Hell, like most of the there were some carbines that outperform SMGs. Like the one that comes to mind is the MTAR, and the carbines are available for every class, whereas the SMGs aren't. Like, because in Battlefield 3, that was kind of the thing with the SMGs. Is unlike the carbines, they were available for every class. But they did away with that in Battlefield 4 and made the carbines available to every class and made the SMGs an engineer specific thing. So it's like.
Whereas now, because of the whole weapon change that they're doing and allowing you to kind of just slap stuff around, like, I think maybe on shorter range maps, like if they actually end up being good, I think people will bring them, or at least the iconic ones for memes. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think like P90 memes are going away. I assume that we're getting a P90. If we're not, like, I don't know what they're doing.
I mean,
Fix
there's
all-
a
all the
vector
other-
in the trailer.
But yeah, like they definitely have options for this stuff. The gunplay, I think, should be fine, or at least tolerable as it looks. I'm not really concerned about it.
Yeah. All right. BK.
BK.
What's up?
He's just undeafened himself, and he has missed this entire conversation. Okay. Thing that you're most excited for 2042, and thing you're most scared they're gonna fuck up.
I feel like they're gonna pull a Modern Warfare Warzone where they're gonna update you 50 gigs at a time and fucking make you wait 3 hours, and
system
also
problems, yeah.
make it
feel
to
like
the
that's
point
an-
like Warzone also does is they fill up your storage to the point where there's no other way to play any other games. That's my feeling that's gonna happen. That's what I'm
Marketing
worried about.
tactic, I knew it. What if it was just
Yeah.
all marketing tactic?
I think that's
Uh,
inevitable with modern games and high graphics and all that stuff.
And with Nick Vance and
No,
all that.
man, shit used to come out, with almost the
Well-
same amount of stuff that we get now, but it wasn't that big.
Well, kind of. I mean, when you think about it, because we're moving up into like 8K textures and shit like that, that's a massive amount of data that needs to be stored. And it's not just that; it's also like you got to think like sounds, right? Because sound files can we
Yeah,
think
they
of
can
them
get
as pretty
big.
small, but they can be pretty damn big, especially when you consider like when you
Yeah.
install the game,
But
you also
I
install
still
it with
I still
every other
feel
language. So
it's gonna be a marketing tactic to make you just play that game.
Yeah, that kind of seems like actually like something that could
It's
happen.
inevitable. It's
A
inevitable. really.
marketing tactic.
What I'm excited for, I'm not really sure. I just want to make sure this game isn't gonna fuck me like half the other games do. Ever since DLCs, you just start paying for them, and all the games went to shit pretty much after. What would I say? Black Ops 2, I think, was like the last one I could say was like era where the game started just going to shit. And like time reference, so if they can pull it off back before that, like Battlefield 3, Battlefield 2, Bad Company, if they could pull shit off like that, then I'll be fucking excited for it.
I don't know about you, but I just I can remember Call of Duty Ghosts coming out, and then every game after that being so bad.
Oh, MW3, if we're gonna kind of get into Call of Duty, MW3 I felt like was the killer. Like that was the last decent game they made.
They couldn't top
For
it.
me, it was Ghosts. For me, it was Ghosts.
oh boy.
Definitely Ghosts.
The one
Those-
thing I will say on that,
yeah.
though, is Black Ops 3 at least had moddable zombies, which made
yeah.
it tolerable. Like, whereas the
Yes.
multiplayer for that was bleh. Like, I almost never played multiplayer
It was fun for
for
a
it.
bit.
'Cause yeah, but, like, there were a lot of, like, pretty major problems with weapon balance that they never fixed in Black Ops 3 multiplayer.
Yeah, I'll give Black Ops 3 this. It was the one like sort of advanced movement one that I actually enjoyed. They seem
Black
to do
Ops
that
4.
advanced movement crap. 4, I don't know.
Shit. It was shit. I'm gonna be honest here, it was shit.
Yeah.
No, like, listen, if you're gonna have no campaign, at least have a good like multiplayer, like a lot of content, you know.
But
Yeah.
even in
what I'm
case,
excited for, I'm excited for the back in the day when I was playing Battlefield 3 and I could hide in bushes and just have people chase me, and I just would knife them and come out of nowhere and just knife them, and they couldn't find me unless I fucked up. That's
Hmm.
what I'm excited for. I'm not. I'm hoping it's not where it's a run and gun and you just fucking die like Call of Duty is.
oh yeah,
But in general, it's going to be a run and gun. It's just how most of these first person shooters just go.
All right. With that, this will be the conclusion of episode 1 of whatever the hell we're naming this.
Sandbox After Dark. Yep, there we go.
Yeah,
Maybe
the whole thing.
The Sandbox.
After
The
Dark.
Sandbox. The Sandbox, not bad.
Yeah, I like that. We'll go with that. The Sandbox.
We don't give a fuck what happens, and nothing holds its form after a while.
Amazing.
Yep.
Constructive, but not at all.
Yes, sir.
All right, peace.